200 years from now, we don't want nobody talking about how we had somebody fabulous called Dr. York and he was some prophet or some special human being, when this guy was doing dirt to his own people for what? Decades. He was there doing nasty shit to our people. And then y'all trying to free Dr. York, and when y'all trying to free Dr. York, you know he's not coming out. You try all these stupid things to get clemency through Obama, and you know that nigga was guilty. Until they disavow and they condemn that man for what he did, then you could come, Prince York, and say, hey, I'm a Nuwaupian, but we coming from this direction. We not going where my father went. Disavow the fuckery that he did. That's the bottom line. We here in America are not the Hebrew Israelites of history. We're not. In fact, there's no such thing as a Hebrew Israelite in history.
Uh-oh, yo, you gotta, hey, yo, man, listen, hold on, man. You gotta be careful with that, Garfield. When you make these claims, you're gonna have one of the most feared Hebrews coming at you.
If Zion Lex has a debate with me on a scholastic level, he's gonna get embarrassed. Yeah, I said that. And the reason is, you don't know Hebrew. You don't know ancient Hebrew. So you could claim you're a Hebrew Israelite, you could claim it, but listen, Tazariak is gonna run. I'm gonna tell you why. When I said, show me a person who claimed to be a Hebrew Israelite that came over in America on a ship, no one is able to step forward and show me. We shouldn't even call ourselves Moors, if you want to be technical. Because the name Moor does not come from anybody that looks like me and you. It came from the cracker who named us Moors. So let's just keep it real. That's not our name. If you want to be technical, let's trade the name Moor to Maury. If you want to go back that far.
Boy, oh boy. Let's start off right here first. The first thing I want to say, family, before I get too far, the views and opinions of those who speak at the House of Consciousness are not the views and opinions of Brother Sarnetta and Sarnetta TV, Sarnetta Studio, HOK. Let me first put that disclaimer out there. Secondly, now I see, Garfield, why you call yourself the Dagger Squad. Garfield is taking no prisoners, brothers and sisters. He is stepping up to the plate. He is bringing out pearls, jewels, and he is breaking down ceilings, letting off fire bombs. This is what daggers do when they pierce through the soul of your information. You hear me? So without any further goddamn ado, I bring to you Brother Garfield from the Dagger Squad. Tell me how valuable Chuck Morgan is, because, you know, some people saying, oh, he not viable. Where did Chuck Morgan come from? Do he know what the fuck he talking about?
First of all, Chuck Morgan is an ex-Nuwaupian. He was in deep in the Nuwaupianism. And what we need to understand is that Chuck Morgan has a website called Nuwaupianism.com. That website needs to turn into a book and a movie, because 200 years from now, we don't want nobody talking about how we had somebody fabulous called Dr. York and he was some prophet or some special human being, when this guy was doing dirt to his own people for what? Decades. He was there doing nasty shit to our people. Last night, I did a show on Dagger Squad. I had 3 other victims on. This is what we're gonna do. We had a sister on who talked about how York married her sister and then married her, had kids with her, abused her, did all type of shit to her. I'm not gonna get too graphic today. Then we had Nicole on. Nicole mother was married to Dr. York. And what we found out with Nicole is Nicole was an editor for Dr. York. She told us last night, go to Dagger Squad YouTube channel, the show is there, where she used to edit the information and plagiarize from other people's sources and put it in his book. So I challenge any Nuwaupian right there who supports his silly and crazy doctrine to show me one page in Dr. York's books that was right and exact. that he came up with on his own. Because you know what? He plagiarized almost everything in all his books, and it was a bunch of Rosicrucian bullshit. If you look at the sign with the semicircle with the X, you know that was from Madame Blavatsky and from D. Lawrence, the guy that used to run all the hocus pocus out of Chicago. That's where he got the sign from. Nuwaubu, the record label, that's where he got Nuwaupians from. So you run around, call yourself something that was upset, that was basically stolen from a Jamaican, Ted Powell, who had a label called Nuwaupu, and then he called it Nuwaupians. Come on, man. Stop the foolishness, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to do right now. If you, and we're willing to challenge any Nuwaupian out there. I'll bring Chuck Morgan, I'll bring Brother Ampu, I'll bring my whole team, even Malik. And we talk about the whole teachings, how Dr. York is supposed to live for 1,000 years, and he can't even survive in prison right now where he at. And then y'all trying to free Dr. York, and when y'all trying to free Dr. York, you know he's not coming out. You try all these stupid things to get clemency through Obama, and you know that nigga was guilty. And that nigga is guilty, and he's gonna rot in jail. I don't care what nobody says. What he did to those people on that land was unbelievable. What he did to them in Bushwick, what he did to them in upstate, come on, man. These people not gonna make this shit up. Which dude in his right mind gonna talk about another nigga used to fuck him up the ass? Ain't no man gonna do that unless he's telling the truth. Ain't no man gonna proudly and come out and say that unless he's telling the truth. We need to cut this garbage out, man. We don't need no form of teachings from Dr. York because the shit is plagiarized from crackers. We don't need nothing. There's nothing original about him. So you need to understand this and understand this real good. That Nuwaupianism can't do nothing for us. Yes, he went and he built a land. But what did he do on the land? What he did on the land. And if those people on the land didn't report him to the social workers, he would have still been there right now screwing all them kids. So let me tell you right now, straight up, we don't need Dr. York. We don't need Nuwaupians. We don't need none of that bullshit to infiltrate our community and lead us down the wrong path. And where did it lead us? If you watched the show last night, the sister Addison couldn't even survive for 20 minutes talking. She was so emotional. She's not even over that. The sister needs therapy. I had to hook her up today with a PhD to make sure she get the therapy that she needs. So you could talk and talk about, oh, Garfield, but his teachings was right. His teaching wasn't right as exact. He plagiarized white folks, Madame Blavatsky, all these people from Hindu cultures and Indian cultures. He would plagiarize their works because the normal person like me and you, family, don't study deep enough like the way Chuck Morgan did, who was a part of the organization and ripped it apart and showed that the teachings were plagiarized from other areas. I'm telling y'all straight up right now, we don't need that in the community. And Prince York, I'm telling you right now, let's meet up and have a conversation about this so we could square all this foolishness. Because what you're trying to do is bring a guy that did horrible works to his own people over the years. So we don't need Dr. York in the community, straight up. We don't need this information. What we need is people who stand and can help the people originally and can help them 100%. We don't need that craziness trying to talk about Sodom misinterpreted. Sodom misinterpreted what? Come on, man. We don't need that, man. Peace to my brother Daniela too, man. We know what it is with Dr. York. All right? Prince York will never call me out because he don't want me to deal with his ass. I'm going to tell you right now. Pause. Let me tell you straight up right now. Prince York, you don't even have information. We saw you at the debate. You had to call for backup because you couldn't even answer the questions. Every question Daniela or anybody asked, you had to whisper in somebody else's ears, what is he talking about? They asked you about the Holy Tablet. You don't even know about your father's Holy Tablets. Leave your father's teachings alone. You are the one who was in the music industry. We got your file, brother. You wasn't in the music industry. Your record career didn't work out, so you had to try to piggyback off your dad. Wasn't you giving shout-outs to Jacob York the other day? And Jacob York is your big brother, and allegedly he took your father down, but you was giving him big shout-outs? This is how phony you are, Prince York. Straight up. You phony. And we know what it is. Yeah, man, that dude, no good for the community. Prince York, you trying to write off your father's popularity, disrespecting, I mean, whatever you and Polite got, that's between y'all. But we know you trying to write off your father's popularity. You don't know the teachings, and you trying to front because you have the name York at the end of your name. Your father was not born in Sudan. We know he's fake for saying that. He was born in Massachusetts in the hospital. We got the birth records. So he was, come on, man. Stop the foolishness, man. Let's expose this, man. Talking about he's a Liberian executive or whatever they want to be. That got thrown out. He's going to stay in jail. He's going to die in jail, and that's where he needs to be. It needs to be said. It needs to be said straight up. People like that deserve what they get. They talk about how you could levitate and all that shit. That's why they're moving him from prison to prison. Why he can't levitate out the goddamn jail cell? Huh? Why he can't kazoom, boom, and leave? Since he's so all-wise and powerful. Can he use his body temperature and sink through the walls and all that bullshit that y'all teach? Get the hell out of here, man. We don't need them niggas in the community. Next question, man.
You know, that might be a little harsh right there when you said he gonna die in jail. I mean,
now, if you know a man that got over 100 kids, raped young boys, had toys like brother Daniela talked about. He had a toy and the sister broke it down last night. She said he had that toy from Bushwick. Remember when Daniela told you he had the toy with the penis? She said the toy was a big penis he had from Bushwick, and he couldn't leave that toy alone. He had to bring it to the land. Nasty motherfucker. Get the hell out of here. We don't need that shit in the community. I stand on what I'm saying. This is Garfield from the Dagger Squad. I ain't running from nobody. Straight up. Hey, Tazariak, this is one issue me and Tazariak agree with 100, not even 90%. 100% I agree with Tazariak. We don't need them Nuwaupianism. And you know what Tazariak said something the other day, man. We don't support when they're living on righteousness and condemning what dudes do with dudes, with the African Bambaataa and now the Dr. York. We talked about that last night because African Bambaataa was close to Dr. York. He talked about it in his music. So there was a connection there. What is it that African Bambaataa knew about Dr. York that made him feel comfortable to do what he did? Yeah, a lot of celebrities supported Dr. York, but they didn't know what he was doing in the background. This man separated the man and the woman, the husband and wife. So if you had your wife, Sonetta, and you went on the land, you wouldn't live with your wife. You would live with a bunch of dudes. And the woman lived by themselves and the kids lived by themselves. So when he was doing his grammar shit with the kids, the parents weren't there to protect them. He knew what he was doing. The sister said last night, somebody had said that they were sleeping with York, one of the young kids, and a new person that came in on the land heard about it, this Latino sister, and that they got upset with the person that said it. They got upset with the person that exposed that was going on the land. So let me say something straight up, man. I thank the person who reported him to the social worker. I thank the government for doing their job and getting rid of this monster called Dr. York. Straight up. Getting rid of that monster. So if I sound harsh, because of what happened last night. The sister was on the show crying, and this is shit that happened over 15 to 30 years ago, and she's still emotional about it today because of what Dr. York did to her. Come on, man. Come on. This guy's he has affected lives, hundreds of lives. Hundreds of lives had to be started over because of this dude and his nasty bullshit. We don't need nothing about no Dr. York or no Nuwaupianism. It's garbage. Ask him where Nuwaupu come from. The record label from the brother Powell in Jamaica, 1974. He had the record label with the song Nuwaupu, and that's how you got the name. Let's stop playing games. So your name is foolishness and fake and plagiarized. Get the hell out of here.
Damn, Garfield, you going in. It sounds like you just got some personal hate. And that's what I said to my man Cuban Crisis, Brother Malik. Is it personal hatred that you have for Dr. York? I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. And I told my brother Cuban Malik that shit. It seemed like y'all coming with just fucking hating this dude.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. I heard Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad say something. He said the reason why I call black people my people, because they're a part of me and I'm a part of them. If you hurt one of my people, it doesn't matter where you are, I'm with you. I'm going to defend you. And black folks, we sat by and watched this Negro do this to all these children, and the people on the land who knew and covered up, them niggas need to be dealt with too. Them niggas need to be dealt with. They just as guilty. But what I heard the game he played is, he knew he had something on you, so you wouldn't snitch on him. So the people in his inner circle knew the bullshit was going on, and what they did. Listen, man, the brother last night, he was on the land from 7 years old to 14 years old. The wife of Dr. York used to suck his dick to get him hard and prepared for the nasty shit he was going to do with Dr. York. You hear what I just said, family? From 7 to 14, the dude lived on the land. It's on my show. Go to Dagger Squad YouTube. The show was on last night. I'm not making this up. And I asked every one of them. I asked every one of them last night, are you guys rich? Are you millionaires? With the brother who got raped by Dr. York and sodomized, he said he couldn't even pay his phone bill. They weren't paid off, man. These people are suffering. But they got away from the monster. They got away from that monster. So peace and love ain't nothing personal, man. People say, Garfield, you wish you were Dr. York. Let me tell you something. I have writings coming out, and I don't need to plagiarize shit. I will write and document where I got it from. I don't need to act like I made it up myself. I have the abandoned town that I'm working on. And yes, Dr. York did a great thing when he went on the land. But don't go on the land to create sexual orgies with other young kids. The rumor was he was sleeping with dudes' wives. Okay, fine. You're a nasty dude anyway for that. But the point is, you gave somebody anal chlamydia. I've never heard of anal chlamydia until Dr. York's case. Damn. Anal chlamydia. Come on, people. You watching me right now. This ain't no hate. This is love for my people. We got screwed over by a dude who was just a suave, who knew how to get over on people, who knew how to sell something. Did you look at his pictures, how he would make himself look like Jesus in his books? This nigga was the phoniest. Then in 2000, you know he said Jesus didn't exist, right? You know in 2000 he said he accepted Jesus Christ and he was real. He changed the whole doctrine. Talk about, I took you in a whole circle. The nigga was confused. He was a mental case. Get out of here with that bullshit. We don't need that. I don't care what they bring to the table. Until they disavow and they condemn that man for what he did, then you could come, Prince York, and say, hey, I'm a Nuwaupian, but we coming from this direction. We not going where my father went. Disavow the fuckery that he did. That's the bottom line.
All right, my brother. Damn, that's some heavy shit. Yeah, we need to move on right here. We need to move on because this dude over here, Monk, heard you mention the name and he moved away from you. So the name Dr. York scared the hell out you. Why, Monk?
Because I knew the brother.
Okay, but what did you know about him? Is he saying correct or you got to do research on it?
I got to do research on it because I knew when he was with doing stuff with blue magic and all that. And all I know, yeah, singing days, back in the singing days, Dr. York, Malachi York, the one that had the long limousine car, Cadillac limousine car too. So I knew that much, that's all I knew.
Okay. Oh, you ain't know about the molesting and nothing like that?
I heard it, but I don't know nothing.
When you heard about it, what that did to you, man? Come over here, come over here. What happened when you heard about that shit? Did you believe it? Did you like, what happened?
When I heard about that, I had to be.
Turn it. Yeah.
When I heard about that, I just kept my mouth shut and thought it might be a lie or somebody just trying to put something on Dr. York. Okay. That's all I know.
Now, what do you think now that he's, he in jail and all that? Do you see it to be true?
When you come to be a man with notoriety and people know you and they're against what you do, they can put any kind of charges on you and want you to be in jail.
Was you a follower of Dr. York?
No, I was never a follower. I just knew what he do. I was a follower of a mindset that I had, that I was greater than anybody I could talk to.
All right, thank you, my brother Monk.
Let me say one more thing regarding this. I want to say something real carefully here. People say the government. I want to say something. The Oyatunji village in South Carolina, 45 years, no government intervention, nothing at all. And they're living there, they're practicing African spirituality. They've never had a crime, they've never had a death, they've never had anything to report as a crime in that community for 45 years. And they're living pretty much 95% off the grid. If Dr. York if the government is against him for doing the land, why is the government not against the Oyatunji village that follows an African spiritual system? Why are they not against us uniting and doing not like a Black Wall Street, but pretty much our own land, our own farmland, and so forth? Why they have not invaded Oyatunji village yet? It's not about that, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody on the land reported Dr. York. And that needs to be clear to everybody. Somebody reported him. Not the government didn't just come in and then they started watching him. All right, they started studying Nuwaupianism, the language, so they could understand the words that y'all was saying. So listen, man, this is deeper than you think. But just know that deep in my heart, I know Dr. York did all that shit.
All right, let's move along now. Let's move forward.